Welcome to practice. I'm Donna Cavanough. We're going to begin laying down, and we're going to use a blanket or a rolled up towel to support underneath the hips. For a very supportive, comforting experience that goes across your mat. And if you lay yourself down, and even tuck the ends under a little bit if you've got some extra length in your blanket, that can go right in under the top of the leg bones, the femur bones, under the hip. Soles of the feet together. Yoga practice is so much like a good old friend. And even if you haven't seen them in a long while, you know what to do. Finding your breath. Noticing where you might be able to relax a little more. So we begin the practice with the spirit of curiosity. What's going on in your body? How do you feel? Finding the breath, feeling satisfied with that breath. Gently bring the legs in and take your support out from underneath you. And we'll roll over. And we're going to take child's pose to begin with the arms back beside you. And your knees a little bit wider than you normally would. So big toes touching, wide, lots of room for the belly and the chest. And up. And bring your attention to We're going to take the arms out in front in forward Virasana, as straight as you're comfortable with in your shoulders. Good. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left side and really so relaxing. Each breath. Good. Back to center and over to the right side. And really reach with your left arm so that we lengthen the left ribs. Mm. Mm. Enjoying the flow of your breath. Good, and then back to center. Walking your hands back. Nice work. We're going to bring the arms forward and be onto your forearm. And we'll have the palms of the hands together. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees all the way up. And you're looking forward at your hands. And we're bringing the bones of the spine forward. And breathing deeply. Good, and then release your knees back to the floor and come back into that wide, extra wide child's pose. So take the knees out a little wider. Resting your forehead to the floor, arms relaxed beside you. Beautiful. Take your arms forward now, as far as they go. Forward Virasana. And then we're going to lift up, bring the knees in, and downward facing dog pose. So stretch your fingers out wide and press your fingerprints and lift your knees away from the floor. And we're going to extend one leg at a time. So press the left heel down to the floor, bend the right knee. Press the right heel down to the floor, bend the left. And we're going to do this a few times. Notice what your feet are doing and really let them move. So lift right up onto the ball of the foot when you bend the leg. Press right down into the heel when you straighten the leg. And let the torso move freely, however feels good, finding the flow of your breath, letting your neck be really relaxed here. Press your fingerprints, try to keep the weight less in the heels of the hands. Good. And then releasing. Now, we're going to take the wide knee position again and be on your forearms. Okay, because we're going to take the feet out a little and we're going to point the toes out. Now, this is harder for the knees and hips, so you adjust it for what your body needs. Let your knees out as wide as feels comfortable in this position. And you take your feet as wide as feels comfortable. And then we start to think about and feel what it is to move the hips back towards the floor. So it might only be in your imagination at this moment. And breathing. So even though we're doing something challenging here, finding the flow of the breath, satisfied with that flow. Good. And then release your toes back together, back to center, and resting again for a moment. You can put your arms out in front for forward Virasana. Mm. Mm. Good. Now lift up onto your hands. You're going to lift your torso, and we're going to take the left leg out to the side. Good. And then see if you can come back down onto your forearms. If that's too strong, stay up on your straight arms. And you can take them out a little bit further if you want to bring the torso closer to the floor. So adjust to where your torso needs to be for the health and comfort of your knee. And otherwise, we're trying to bring that, bring the pelvis and keep it level to the floor. Good. And if you're on your elbows, try to bring the bones of the spine forward. Great. And then releasing. Nice work. Bring that the toes in to touch again. So you've got your knees wide, toes touching, and hands can be on the floor or elbows on the floor. Take your right leg out to the side, so straight out at 90 degrees. Good, and then find where your torso needs to be for accommodating that stretch. And breathing. Try to bring the bones of the spine forward. Nice work. Good. And then releasing, bring that leg in. Now we're going to be kneeling up, and sometimes it depends on your floor and your knees. Having a little bit of extra support under your knees to kneel on can feel better. So we're going to kneel up facing the long edge of the mat. Great. And take your right leg out to the side, so your right leg is straight. And your heel and your knee are in one plane with the front of the body. Good. And we're going to point the toes, the right toes down towards the floor. Start to slide your right arm along your right leg, and we're going to take the left arm up by the left ear, and you make your arm as straight as your arm will go. Mine doesn't want to be straight. We'll roll the left ribs back. Ooh. Nice work. Coming back up to center. Very good. And then we're kneeling back up to center, and then take your left leg out. So your left heel, your right knee, and the front of the body in one plane. Point your toes down. Slide your left hand along your left leg. Good. And we're going to reach the right arm by the right shoulder. Oh, really reaching the ribs, rolling the right rib back. Oh, delicious. Finding the satisfying breath. Beautiful. And then coming back to center. Just while we're here, we're going to stay kneeling up, keep the knees underneath the hips, and we're going to take our Ustrasana. So we'll take both arms up and reach back, and you're going to hold where you reach to comfortably. So that might be on top of the buttocks, the back of the pelvis, or below the buttocks on the thighs, and reaching the elbows back, lifting the chest, lift the front of the legs. Good. So we want to lift the front of the legs. We want to lift the hips, lift the belly, lift the breastbone, looking up. Good. And then releasing. Tuck your toes under and kneel back onto your heels if that's doable. And if it's not, keep your hands on the floor in front, but give your feet that stretch just as much as you can. And breathing deeply. Good. And then one more Ustrasana, back bend. Keep your toes tucked under. Let's take the arms up and behind and reach as far as you can. I'm tender in my left shoulder. Ooh. Finding where your body resists and paying attention to that. So supporting your back more by lifting the legs more powerfully, supporting with the core of the body, so lifting the belly, finding the flow of your breath. Beautiful. Either bring your hands to the floor to sit your bottom back towards your heels as best you can, or just sit back with your heels with your toes tucked under. You can even grab your little toes if they don't quite reach the floor, so they also get a stretch. Nice work. And if you can stand up from here, then just rolling back and coming up to standing. Or come to standing with all those precious movements that make it possible. Great. And you don't need your blanket. We're going to take a standing position in the center of the mat with the feet hip width and parallel in Tadasana. Lifting powerfully the front of the leg. Nice. Bring your right leg up now. So we're going to be balanced on the left leg. If you're going to struggle with your balance, you could always have the back of a chair handy and hold on to that. We're going to take the right knee out to the right side, and then we're going to take it behind so that we're leaning forward a little. I'll just show you from the side. When you're leaning forward, you're hinging at your hip joint, but you're not hunching your spine. So we want to bring the bones of the spine forward. We're feeling that back bend. Good. Now we're going to draw a circle with the right knee. And that action is going to stay, the circle is behind your body. And you're using your right buttock to make that action. And the other direction. We're finding the satisfying breath, keeping the hips nice and level, neck is long. Good. And releasing that leg. Ooh, difficult, I know. Back to Tadasana. Finding your breath, finding your relaxed shoulders and comfortable position for your head. Good. Nice deep breath. Beautiful. We're balancing now on the right foot. Pick up the left leg. Take the left knee out to the side and then behind you. And when you take the leg behind you, you're hinging forward at your hips and you're bringing the bones of the spine forward. Great. And then we take the knee and we draw a circle. Ha ha ha. Now we want to try and use the left gluteus muscle for this action. Whoa. So think about the buttock muscle drawing the circle. Bones of the spine coming forward. Might be useful to press the hands together in front of the heart and then the other direction. Keeping the hips level, using the pelvic floor, the core body, and the buttock muscle. Beautiful. And then we're going to release. And then we're going to stretch that out. So, Uttanasana. Let's take the arms up first, Urdhva Hastasana, and then Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Put your hands on your legs, not on your knees, but above or below, and walk one leg at a time, alternating to straight. So bend one leg, straighten the other. From side to side. And really trying to get the stretch into that area we were just working. So the buttock muscle at the back of the pelvis. Mm. 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 Good, wiggling your spine, however that feels good, to follow the movement of your leg and your pelvis. Mm. Nice work. Bend your knees and rolling up. And bring your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Ooh. And Tadasana. Jump or step, and you can thump your legs out to about your own leg length distance. This is for Trikonasana. We're going to turn the feet towards the right side. So the right foot is parallel to the edges of the mat. And your left toes turn towards center-ish. And you want to feel stable and the right heel lining up with the center of your left foot in that arch. And take a moment to feel your feet. They know the floor. And so we don't want the toes to grip, but to spread and share the weight. All right, we've got straight legs here. So lifting kneecaps. The work in this pose is always that movement of the pelvis to roll the left hip back. So just as much as you can, you're bringing the front of your hips parallel to the long edge of the mat. And that depends on a few factors. So make sure you're not hurting your knees. Lift your knees. Good. Let's take the arms out from the shoulders. And we're going to reach across to the right side with the right arm and take it down onto the right leg. Great. And you can take your left arm straight up if your shoulder allows. I'm going to keep my hand on my hip today. We're rolling back the left hip, rolling back the left ribs. Here we are in Trikonasana, and then where to go. Let's keep breathing and try to lengthen the right ribs so that the left ribs start to reach into the core of the body. The spine is long. Good. Turning to look up towards the ceiling. If that feels all right in your neck, that movement should feel like it starts at the hip. So the left hip rolls back, the left ribs roll back so that you can look up. Beautiful. And then powerfully from the core of the body, we're going to lift up. And then changing side. Always checking alignment, heel, center of the back foot, inner arch. Lifting the kneecap. Good. Feel your feet. Stretch the toes. Great. And then that movement of the hips. Notice how the hips want to be at an angle towards the long edge of the mat. See if you can roll back your right hip. Beautiful. Take your arms out from your shoulders and we're going to reach, and take the left hand down onto the left leg and the right arm up. Trikonasana. This beautiful posture. Rolling the right hip back, rolling the right rib back. We're trying to look up at the ceiling, but that movement comes from the hip, the right hip rolling back, the right ribs rolling back. There's room to look up. Good. And then coming up. Beautiful. Turning your feet to the front. So turn your heels out. Your toes are in and heels are out. And we're going to make a forward bend here. Prasarita Padottanasana. Bring your hands around the front of the hips. Find your hip crease. And feel your back bend from there. Like we did in Ustrasana, camel pose, we want to feel the legs are powerfully creating a foundation. So the thighs are lifting, the front of the hips are lifting. Squeeze the buttock muscles together. Good, and lifting and looking up. And then we're going to bring that back bend shape forward. Bring the torso forward. Put your hands on your legs or on the floor under your shoulders. Good, strong legs. So keep the lift in the legs and the sit bones. Looking forward, bringing the bones of the spine forward. Enjoying every breath. We'll take the hands forward. Mm. Bend your right leg just as much as you can, and then straighten that leg and bend your left leg. So we're going to go from side to side. And back to center. Lift up and look forward, so hands under the shoulders. And then re-lengthen the spine and bring the top of the head as far forward as you can or as far towards the floor as you can. You might be able to reach the floor between your feet. Good. And then we're going to lift ourselves up. And you're going to wiggle the feet in a little bit. This time, turn the toes out. So toes turned out. And we're going to set the knees as far apart as you can and lower the hips as close to the floor as you're comfortable doing. And then we're going to really lift the pelvic floor, the lower front core. Bring the hands in front of your heart. Nice work. We're going to find the breath. Feel the strength of the lift, especially in the core body. Good. And then from side to side, hips, one leg straight, one leg bend. Back to center. And then lifting up. Nice work. Feet back to center. We're going to take Uttanasana again, standing forward bend. Reach your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. And then Uttanasana. And hands supporting where it makes sense for your spine. So it might be on your legs, it might be on the floor. And we try to bring the bones of the spine forward. We're going to start to straighten the legs just as far as they'll go without compromising the healthy feeling in your spine. And holding that, lifting the kneecaps and the quadriceps and the sit bones and relaxing your head and finding the satisfying breath. With each breath, there might be opportunity to even straighten a little bit more, to relax the bones of the spine even further forward. To become more at ease in the pose. Nice work. And we're going to sit from here. So taking all the movement, I'm going to come into a squat. And before I try and put my bottom down, because I don't want to fall back, I'm going to really limber up the feet. So I'm going to swing from side to side and just get the feet moving. Try to get my hips as close to the floor as I can. Using the core to hold some semblance of not falling over. Good, and then we'll sit up onto a blanket. We're going to make circles with the ribs around the pelvis here. And it can be a small movement or an exaggerated movement, depending on what feels good. So the rib cage or the diaphragm, that sling of muscle at the base of your ribs. We're trying to keep that parallel to the floor. And you're noticing all the little parts, the connective tissue, muscle that enjoys or complains a little. And then the other direction. This is a massage too for the organs. So sometimes if you go too much, it can be a little bit too much for the gut. So again, listen to your body. Make it work for you. Good. And then come back up to center. And we're going to do a spinal wave, but side to side. So if you take your right ear to your right shoulder, and then your head to the right, and you reach as far as you can. And then we're going to take the left ear to the left shoulder. And then your head to the left. And you go as far as you can. And then right ear, right shoulder. And then heading to the right. So the trick is to go as far as you can, then swap direction of the neck, and then follow that as far as you can. Good. See if you can get your whole spine and rib cage to follow along. Nice work. And then come back to center. And that work we've just been doing with the spine and the ribs, wiggle yourself as long as you can. So make as much space between the joints of the spine. Beautiful. Finding your breath. And now we're going to balance on the coccyx. So you probably a blanket underneath, and you're just going to hold the front of your knees and balance your feet off the floor. And then we want to wiggle the spine long again. There are a few stages to this next pose, Parapurnavasana, boat pose. And you do the stage, you work in the stage that feels best for your back. So this is already asking a little bit of your body. The core has had to switch on to keep you balanced. But we definitely want to bring the bones of the spine forward and feel that your back is healthy. There's no strain, just support. Great. And then see how you go, letting go with your hands. Whoa, can you use your front core more powerfully and internal support, pelvic floor, so that, again, no strain in your back. And if there is, go back to holding your knees, maybe a little more lightly than you were, but go back to the step that you're able to work with your back with no strain. Good. We want to be working hard in the core body. Great. And if you're okay to the next one, then take the feet up. Stretch out through your arms, nice and broad across your chest. And some people can do straight legs as well. Your toes about eye level. No strain in the back. Use your core body. Keep breathing. My boat is sinking. Good. And then release. We're going to come back into cross legs, but if you can remember, cross your legs the other way. That's a memory issue, not a body issue. Same thing, probably. Let's turn to the left side for Sukhasana twist. Turning the ribs. Actually, we're going to add in a little arm movement here and turn back to the front. Take your left arm and reach behind you. And you want to reach your fingers as far over to your right hip as you can. And you might be able to take hold of your right wrist or your right elbow or your right upper arm. Because of my limited movement, I can just do the wrist. And then you take your right fingers and you walk them across to the left side of your body as far as you're able to. That's going to be too much for me. Good. And then we start to turn. So we're going to lift, find that length in the spine again, and then starting to turn. Oh. We're going to follow the breath. So after you find the length for the spine, finding your ease and your movement with the breath, the satisfying breath. Good, and then release and relax. And swap the cross of your legs. Take your right arm out to the side, rotate the shoulder forward, reach behind you as far as you can to your left hip, and then take hold of something, wrist, elbow, upper arm, and then you wiggle your left fingertips as far as you can to the right side of the body. I can only just grasp my thigh, limited shoulder movement currently. So you go as far as you can. It brings the bones of the spine forward. And then we're going to turn to the right side. Finding the breath and following the breath into your movement. And then release and back to center. We're going to lay down and use the blanket for bamboo pose. So underneath the hips and legs straight up. If this feels in any way like you're struggling to hold your legs up, the core of the body is struggling, don't do that. Put your feet on the floor, just let your belly relax here. But if you can get the blanket in the right spot and everything's aligning, then legs are straight up. I love this little inversion. Finding your satisfying breath. Being curious as to any tension that's left in the body, letting it go. Good. And then releasing your legs taking your blanket out. If you'd like to stay for relaxation, put your legs out to straight. If you need to finish your practice, hug your knees into your chest and lengthen your spine a little until you're ready to roll to your right and come up this knee. Namaste to you. People who are staying for Shavasana, just checking in. Can you use your blanket to give you a little more support? Maybe under the thighs, so your lower back is long. And we try to place ourselves as evenly onto the floor as we can from side to side. Spine long, neck long, shoulders relaxed. And then start to seek out those places in the body that we know habitually hold tension. Letting that go. And then as each place in the body is mentioned, bringing your focus to that part of the body and really discovering if there's any tension that is unnecessary there. And using that ability to truly focus, to give ourselves that focus, beginning with your toes. And the soles of your feet, and the tops of your feet and your ankles. And your knees, your thighs, your hips, and the buttock muscles, pelvic floor, around your sacrum, and the left waist and the right waist, and the lower back, middle back, between the shoulder blades, between your shoulders, the rib cage, between the collarbones, the armpit, shoulders, upper arms, elbows and forearms, and wrists and palms, thumbs and fingers. The back of your neck, throat, base of your skull, scalp, forehead. around your eyes, and your nose and your mouth, the facial cheeks of expression, facial muscles of expression, around your lips and tongue, roof of the mouth, the throat, jaw, ears. Holding your whole body in the focus of your awareness. Breath by breath. Notice the feeling of being supported, of intending to be still, and feeling the potential of your movement. And as you start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bending in your arms and your legs, explore that potential. Rolling to your right side. And when you feel ready, come up and have a seat. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.